And we're coming to 3 insights called the 3 marks of existence. So, the first of those is impermanence. So again, we started, and that's what we've been doing so far, focusing on the body, to come to this insight into impermanence. And now in the next practice, we're actually going to cycle through each one of those in one meditation session, again focusing on impermanence. What will this insight bring us? If we can gain this insight, meaning to start to experientially see things as changing moment by moment, what you'll find is that things like attachment, aversion, but mental afflictions in general, but certainly attachment, will decrease a lot. Because attachment likes to hold on to grab something, to hold on to something. But if we see things as just constantly changing, then there's nothing to really grab. Similarly, for aversion, there's nothing to really push away because it's just change. So what you'll find is that if we really do this, any impermanence meditation, and start to experience that, and that's still affecting our mind a little bit after meditation, you'll find that your attachment to pleasant things, aversion to unpleasant things will start to reduce. The second insight into suffering, of course, this is dukkha. What that will bring, of course, is that if we really come to that insight, what is the human condition, we'll come to see, of course, that I'm in this condition due to my mental afflictions, and then we'll really come to realise that the source of my happiness and suffering is not out there at all. It's within my mind. And then we'll see that, well, also therefore I can eliminate that cause of suffering, and then we'll develop the aspiration to be free of suffering. So this insight will lead to developing this renunciation. Remember, again, it's really the aspiration for liberation, the entry point into the path. And then the third insight no self. Here in these Four Noble Truths teachings, if we really come to this insight into no self, this is the fundamental ignorance, which is leading to all the mental afflictions and suffering. So as we gain this insight, again, you'll find that your mental afflictions will reduce, suffering will reduce, and eventually they'll all be eliminated. And so through realising no self, we can then eventually achieve liberation or nirvana. And this impermanence, the insight into impermanence, not only will it help to reduce mental afflictions like craving and attachment, but realising impermanence will help to realise suffering. Because here, remember, one of the distorted views is seeing pleasure as happiness. And if we can realise impermanence with respect to pleasant experiences, we'll realise that they can't be in the nature of happiness, they're constantly changing. And then also realising impermanence is going to help as a basis for no self. Because particularly here, with respect to the body and mind, if we see the body is just flow of change, and the mind is flow of change, then where is a stable self, within that flow. Impossible. So impermanence can help lead to a realization of no self. So this insight into impermanence brings us a lot. And also tomorrow when we start to talk about emptiness, this realization, insight, is also the basis for that. Because, and again, to really understand it well, we have to talk a little bit about emptiness. But again, if we really see that things flow, then where is anything existing from its own side there? There is no thing there from its own side, it's just flow. And so this is actually very close to realizing emptiness as well. So this insight into impermanence, very, very, very helpful. And so that's what we're going to do now, another meditation on that. But before we do, any questions about those? Yeah.
So once you get an insight, or these insights, that's it?
No.
You got an insight and
that's coming a little bit later, but again, we go through in stages. And first, of course, we have some intellectual understanding, but intellectual itself, I mean, if we really thought about it all day, it may be helpful. I mean, if you really, in all your behaviour, you kept reminding yourself everything's impermanent, that would probably help a little bit, but it's hard work, you know, to remind ourselves. But if we have a little taste of this in meditation, that could still be affecting our mind a little bit, and while it's affecting our mind, then we'll notice probably a bit reduced attachment, but that effect will wear off. So we need to keep going and go deeper, and how we do that we'll talk about coming still.
Can you tell about the suffering?
Yeah, that's the topic for this evening. So I'll talk more about that this evening. But before we go to the meditation, I'd just like to read from another book by Alan Wallace called Minding Closely, which is about these 4 applications of mindfulness, just about this impermanence, and then we'll go straight to the practice. This is on page 66. He says, "3 fundamental questions must be asked as we examine the phenomena we encounter. The answers to these simple but profound questions pervading the entire matrix of mindfulness practices are called the 3 signs or marks of existence. Concerning each facet of reality that appears in the ongoing flow of experience, including our own participating presence in the world, the first question is this: is it permanent or impermanent? Is there anything that is durable and unchanging? Is there anything that was once born that does not decay? Is there anything that once acquired is not lost? Is there anything that was once arisen does not decline? Once there is meeting, does parting not inevitably follow? Do any phenomena abide permanently throughout time, or do they persist only momentarily, eventually losing their identity and dissolving? Without scrutiny, that means without investigating, it might seem like a feeling of sadness can descend on us indefinitely, like a dead weight. But are feelings really permanent and unchanging for extended periods, or are they momentary and variable? Are they stable or fluctuating? Are they solid or evanescent? Contemplating the lack of durability of phenomena, it is easy to understand the answer conceptually as the Buddhist doctrine of impermanence. But a conceptual answer will not have much effect on our lives. On the other hand, penetrating the reality of impermanence through direct experience, backed by the power of samadhi, can be thoroughly life-transforming. Fathoming the impermanent nature of everything you experience will dramatically alter your view of reality. So what we're going to do now is another practice here of the 4 applications of mindfulness. So what we're going to do is we're going to cycle through each one of those for 3 or 4 minutes. First, the body, then feelings, and of course feelings doesn't mean emotions, it means pleasant, unpleasant, neutral experiences. Then the mind, so then we're just going to look at the mind as we did in the Shamatha practice, but now we're looking at the mind on the basis of the question, is there anything there, any of these thoughts, emotions and memories stable, or are they all changing moment by moment? And then for phenomena, we'll go to this open awareness, meaning whatever is appearing to the mind, is there anything there at all that's appearing that is stable, or is everything changing moment by moment? Question.
I get tense. I get tension in my eyes.
Tension in your eyes.
Like, I need to
So
concentrate.
relax, relax, relax. This is a sure sign we're tense. We're really.
So I don't feel like
You
I
don't?
don't feel too much if I'm not tense a bit.
But see, this is what I was saying right at the beginning. Is in now, when we want to be alert in anything, we tense. And when we relax, we go dull. So that's why here we're trying to combine those two, to be very relaxed and alert. And of course that will take time, but we don't want alertness at the cost of loss of relaxation. So if you find yourself tense, then we need to relax, relax, relax. And start there.
Even though maybe I won't feel anything. Okay.
Yeah, but stay with the relaxation, because if you go with the tension, you'll build up bad habits. Stay there, and then just stay with relaxation, and then try to improve the clarity. And it'll take time, but stay with the relaxation. That's important. Yeah.
Is there a place during this to apply reasoning, in the sense of I'm in the open space, I see this structure, and now it looks permanent, but I can reason, will it be here in a few centuries?
But this is, reasoning, we don't have to reason, we intellectually know everything's changing moment by moment. That's what Alan was saying. So this practice is about bringing intellectual understanding, which we all have now, into experience. And we do that by just looking closely, on the basis of that question. On the basis of the question, is there anything there that's stable, or is everything changing moment by moment? Simply having that question and then just observing. That's all. And then we need to do some meditation.
Do we need to look for that impermanence?
No, we're not looking for impermanence. We are an empirical scientist and just observing and seeing what's there. Yeah. Seeing what's there. Is it stable, or is it changing?
If I see that it's stable,
then just look. Just keep looking. Keep looking. Remember, we run this experiment many times. And remember, now when we look superficially, it does seem like things are stable. In my retreat, when I was looking superficially, it seemed like there was a single, solid, unchanging pain there. But all I did was I kept looking, paying closer and closer attention, and what I saw was there was not a single, stable pain. It was just thousands of sensations. So we just need to keep looking very closely. Okay, let's do the practice.
I just maybe for the next time, I just don't know how impermanence reduce the attachment.
Yeah, we'll talk about it again. It'll come again and again. Setting the body into a state of relaxation, stillness, and vigilance. that breathing to flow naturally and effortlessly. And allowing the mind to come to rest in the present moment. Simply being aware of the sensations of the breath. And so we can begin our Vipashyana practice by applying mindfulness to the body. To simply observe the field of the body and see, is there anything there that is stable and unchanging, or is everything changing moment by moment? And if you notice some area of the body that seems to be quite stable and unchanging, look more closely. apply mindfulness to feelings. That is, any pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral experiences that arise. Are any of these stable and unchanging? Or are these all changing moment by moment? So again, look closely. Now apply mindfulness to the mind. That is, observing whatever thoughts, emotions, memories, or images arising in the mind. Are any of these stable, or are they all changing moment by moment? Again, look closely. applying mindfulness to all phenomena.